Hi, my name is Layla, and this is my second moon blog. My first one was for the new moon that happened a couple weeks ago, and that new moon was in Leo. And last night we had a full moon, and that full moon was in Pisces. So, what I do is I record what I do on these moons, either on the day of, or in this case, the morning after, because I'm still doing things for the moon right now. Um, and I do a divination. I do a tarot divination because I'm primarily a tarot reader. And I also do a little astrology and give some magical advice and just say what I think is going on. And either it's something that speaks to you or it's something that doesn't speak to you. Um, and that's what I'm doing. So this is my second try at this. I really enjoyed the first one, and so I have a lot to say about this time around. And what I think is really important about the moon is to know that its energy is always with us, it's always affecting us, and it's always building on each other. Nothing that happens with the moon is an isolated experience. We're all experiencing it. It just depends on how conscious we are of that experience. Um, and I think that this last moon affected me really intensely, personally. And I have a few ideas why. I'm always more affected on a full moon than I am on a new moon. Um, that's just me. And I believe that that has a lot to do with the fact that letting go and having a big release is a very personal experience, and people let go of different things at different times. I believe we're all releasing things all the time. Um, so last night I spent a lot of time making medicine and just feeling into what that means to create medicine for myself, for community. I made some tinctures. There's some tinctures I had, and they were just ready. They were ready at that time. And for me, making medicine happens all the time. And the word medicine is a very open word. It can mean a lot of things. Medicine could be a person, it could be an animal, it could be something that you literally put in your mouth, it could be something that um, you burn. It could be so many different things. And yesterday I was just having a very profound experience with medicine. And I think one of the most subversive things that you can do for yourself, for your community, for this world, for this planet, is to know that medicine exists and that healing exists at all times for everybody. And that we can give these gifts to each other at any given time. And no state, country, military system, healthcare system, none of those things can tell you when you are able to heal. None of it. You tell yourself that. You are not bound to these systems. We are not bound to these systems. And every time we create our own medicine, we're taking a very powerful stance against any powers that be that tell us that we need to wait to heal until we have enough privilege or have had enough, have been accepted enough that they deem that it's okay that we get the kind of care that we deserve. So the moon is medicine. The moon is medicine. Light, nature is medicine, and she's been here for us this whole time, giving us medicine. this whole time. That is what she's here for. And that's what we're here for. We're here to heal each other. That's what we're here for. We're here for each other. We're here to have a human experience. Things have been very intense. So the energy of the full moon builds. So the moon is full, and then you experience it afterward as well. So now that the moon has come full, right now we're in, this is only the next day. The moon is actually still full right now as I speak. It just has gone down the horizon to another place. And now as that moon goes down the horizon to the other place, as the orbits spin, it's going into its waning phase. So its effects are going to become less, and the moon is going to become new. And it's not that the effects are, I misspoke. It's not that the effects are less as much as that energy kind of, we get to the full moon. So we had the new moon in Pisces. Oh, excuse me, we had the new moon in Leo, and so all this confidence got built up so that we could take on full moon in Pisces. And now full moon in Pisces is like, okay, now I'm going to give you some space so that you, as I'm waning, so that you can put everything together, because there's a lot of other things that are going to start happening with the planets right now, and you're going to have to deal with that too. But I've prepared you. So any bullshit that you don't need anymore, I'm taking away from you. Things come to fruition on a full moon. We see things more clearly. We gain understanding. Anything that has been sort of hidden or occluded comes to light around the full moon. So it's a very powerful time. Full moons are amazing. Amazing for gaining a lot of insight. And a full moon in Pisces, and it's a supermoon. And the supermoon means that the moon is a lot closer to the earth. So what that means is that she's just looking at us a little more closely. She wants to see things in more detail. And that's really interesting because the sun right now is in Virgo, and Virgo is all about the details. So all those details that you were observing on the new moon, they're coming to light, like the picture's getting put together, because life is all about the details. It's like creating a beautiful piece of art. So the sun in Virgo is forming an opposition with the moon in Pisces. And Pisces is all about consciousness, mysticism. Pisces is very emotional. And Virgo can be very organized, very detail-oriented. So it's like, how do you stay on task and at the same time experience the full range of emotions that you are entitled to have as an emotional being? Because that's what makes you human. I feel very seriously about this. I feel very seriously about this because I studied emotions a lot in school, and I thought that a lot of it was bullshit. Because there's this thing called affect theory that the higher institutions are really interested in, especially in terms of studying gender. And affect theory is all about emotion and what that emotion is all about. Like, what kind of experience do you have around people, blah, 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 all this stuff. And they use all these really huge words and all this, like, psychology, and they quote Freud and all of these people, and, Michel Foucault and all these big names and all these philosophers, and they talk about all this stuff. And it's all written in this way where nobody can really fucking understand what the hell somebody's saying. And then, basically they're saying, like, using 10 pages to say something that you can say in one poetic moment. But that's, like, not discussed about how, you're basically taking away emotions from everyday people. People experience emotions all the time. You can't take it, commodify it, put it in a book with big words, and then say, now we understand emotion. No, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. This is something that kind of upset me in my studies, because nobody really talked about that side of things. No one wanted to. No one wanted to own the fact that politically speaking, it was really messed up to take emotions away from the people that experience them. People didn't want to talk about it. So this Pisces full moon is about you getting your emotions back and owning them. Because let me tell you, you're going to fucking need them in the next couple weeks. Okay? So it's a good thing we have the Virgo, because we need it with the Pisces. And then Venus is retrograde and has been retrograde for a while, but it's turning direct September 6th, which is in 6 days. And first of all, when a planet is in retrograde, it's not literally that the orbit goes around. It's an elliptical illusion where it seems like something's going backwards, but it's not. It's this very complicated astrology thing. I don't really know how to explain it any better, but I just did my best, so hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of like when you write something on a piece of paper and then you put it in the mirror and it's all backwards. That's kind of what's going on. But then if you look at the actual physical piece of paper and you look at it, everything is actually right side forward. It's just the way you're seeing something. So Venus, who's a goddess, is the goddess of love, creativity, compassion, blah, 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 all these things that are really amazing and beautiful. But you got to be careful with a goddess because goddesses have tempers, right? So she's been doing all this amazing work for us by giving us some optical illusions so that we can understand her depth even better and understand her place in our lives even better so that we can kind of come to terms with our self-worth. So this goddess comes direct on September 6th, and you usually feel the effects of that as it's approaching, and we'll feel the effects of it as a little bit on the 6th and a little bit after. These are not hard dates. You know, this isn't an office where you send the email and you suddenly have something. You know, this is the fucking planets. You know, these things don't just happen because on the date we say it's going to happen, it happens. It's always happening. So just know that on and around September 6th, give or take a few days, we're going to be experiencing Venus changing her mind a little bit and showing us the side of herself that that is what she's usually used to showing us after she's, given us this amazing optical illusion so we can learn some lessons and see some things, see her shadow side, see her darker side, see things like that. So in this moment, during this moon, we're feeling that effect of this direct orbit coming. So it's really profound. And at the same time, Neptune and Jupiter have been doing a lot of work. Jupiter has been doing a lot of expanding work, and Neptune has been very present. And Neptune is all about spiritual awareness on a whole other level. So Neptune and Pisces are very murky in the spiritual realm. So the grounding of Virgo really helps us out. We sort of need that because the sun is our ego. So we sort of need that grounding cord to take on all this inside stuff that we're dealing with on a level of spiritual openings and awareness. So this is a very intense time for a lot of people, for the entire planet. This is like a very important moment. Which is why I was really interested in the fact that my body last night I was really happy. And in that happiness, I was, very interested in making my medicine and making it really beautiful. And as I cleaned up after myself and like put things in bottles and made my labels and did all the things that I needed to do, I thought to myself, these are the details. This is how you express love. Anybody can take some fucking rosemary and stick it in some oil and call it medicine. But you don't go to a practitioner or buy a product because of that. You go to a practitioner because of their relationship with the plant. Because the stronger of a relationship or the more unique of a relationship somebody has with the plant, that gets expressed in the medicine that's made. And then that's why you go to a practitioner. That's why it's good to go to a few different practitioners. One person's rosemary, this, that, or the other thing is going to be way different than somebody else's. And so I was really struck by that. And I was really grateful for those details because I'm an Aquarius, and sometimes I can be a little like, whoa. I'm a very big picture kind of person. But I was all about the details yesterday, and I was just in my Zen moment. And these days coming up, I suggest you find the details and focus on them because it's going to help with the emotions that you're feeling from all the Neptune and all the Pisces. I mean, spiritual awakenings, spiritual awareness, emotional awareness is profound, has big effects on the body, releasing old wounds, old patterns, accepting things that you feel about yourself or others, coming to terms with your past. These are very profound moments. It's a lot to take on. And it's important to experience them fully. And that's what this full moon is asking us to do. Experience your emotions fully. 100% be with it. And nobody can take that away from you. You can do that at any time. Because Virgo will keep you on task. That's cool. The other thing I want to say about what's going on in the sky, and I'm sure all of you are going to be very happy about this. When I saw this, I was like, whoa. Venus and Mars are conjunct. So a conjunction, what that means is that the energies are blending. So they're working together. So Mars is action. It's also how you fight. It's passion. It's sex. It's also a very masculine planet. Um, Venus is love, beauty, creativity, very feminine oriented planet. We're going to find that there's a lot of balance being struck in all of the moments of our life. Life is going to be very tantric for a couple of weeks. That's nice. I mean, we're talking about, we all have yin and yang, masculine, feminine energies. We all have them in our body. Striking those balances is what helps us to be balanced. But say you're balanced and then other things around you are striking a balance, you're going to have a lot of really cool moments. So, tantric moments, talk about building orgasm. Wow. Like, Venus and Mars conjunct, and Venus is about to go direct. Like, this is prime time. This is very sexy time. This is a lot of fluids going on. A lot of fluidity happening, right? So, and remember Virgo. Virgo is the details. So protect yourself. And I mean that in literal ways and also esoteric ways. Always remember your protection. Safety first. Get that latex. If you're allergic to latex, get something else. If that's the level you're on, burn that sage if you're worried about your spiritual stuff. Protect yourself on all levels. Tantric energy is sexual energy. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to have sex. Tantric energy is very powerful manifestation tool, a very powerful way to interact with the world. So things are working together to create these beautiful balances. Of course, if you did want to get down with somebody in the next couple weeks, this would be a very good time to do it, because my prediction is, just based off looking at this, that the sex is going to be pretty amazing. If that's the thing that's going on for you. If not, then a project is going to become very fruitful for some people. Anything that anyone has been working on, um, if anyone's in school and has something due, this is going to be a very profound time to have some really great artistic moments, like really good ideas, things like that. There's just a lot of energetic balance happening, and a lot of being able to move through things in a really, like, it's just a good time for for a for a lot. So this is great. This is all really good. So that's what's been going on in the sky. And I'm really tired because last night I was up for quite a while. And I lit a lot of candles in my room, and I was just really grateful. And I was just feeling it. I was just like, wow. Things just felt great. Even if something felt like not the most comfortable for me, I still felt good about it flowing through my body. Because I could feel that there was a pattern being unraveled for me, so that I could allow in a new consciousness. So that was nice. So now I'm going to read some cards, some insight for the next couple weeks, because it's always a good time to just see what's going on. My cats are being really weird. Although the other thing last night, my cats were going crazy. They always play with each other, and they were like flying through the air and like pouncing on each other and like doing the craziest stuff. They were really into it, and I was like, wow, that's good. Okay, so here's what I see. The next few weeks are going to be, it's not just the next 2 weeks, I see probably the next month, definitely, going even past the new moon. Um, be prepared for a lot of surprises and unexpected. Basically, if you're a person who likes to keep a schedule, this is going to be a time for you to sort of let go of that and go with the flow. Remember what I was saying? Fluidity time. Go with the Mars action, active, spontaneous, sometimes assertive and aggressive stuff. Go with that. because I see a lot of really cool spontaneous moments happening, and I also see the opportunity for a lot of rest and relaxation. This is a really good time for meditation, and I see that people are going to be like, there's going to be a lot of peace of mind for people. People are going to be really able to be in the moment. And that's a really good place to be for the next few weeks, especially with what's going on in the sky. And if you can stay in the moment and respond with your body rather than your mind, I see a lot of really cool and amazing and surprising moments happening with people around you, or situations or groups. So be prepared for the prepare for the unexpected, I guess, and accept the unexpected. This is a really good time to be in water. If you have access to get to water, being in a beach, going to a hot tub, things like that, this is a really good time for that, because um, it's just a good cleansing time, and water is really good for emotions. Pisces is also a water sign. So water, and then Virgo is the earth. Um, the water will help with the adaptability that you'll be feeling, and help with a lot of just being close to an actual element always helps you to like understand that element better. So I see that happening a lot. And I also see that at times people might become very confused. I see some confusion coming up. I also see a lot of options for people. This is going to be a time where people are going to be presented with a lot of different kinds of things that they could do. My suggestion, because of Virgo, what I saw with Virgo, and just because of what I see here, is continue to stay on task. Like, do the spontaneous things, but strike that balance. Don't deviate from your usual day to day and your usual schedule and the things that you need to get done to continue. Don't deviate it from it so much so that it sets you off track. So that's where your protection comes in. At the same time, I'm also saying allow for the spontaneity to happen. So within doing the details, there will be spontaneous moments. Try not to get too carried away where you smash away all the work you do about having appropriate boundaries. Because it all comes down to having appropriate boundaries. Great things happen, but that doesn't mean we have to get rid of our boundaries at all. On the contrary, it's a way to solidify our boundaries even further. So, I see a lot of options happening for people, and sometimes some confusion, because when we're presented with a lot of different things that we could choose from, it just becomes, we tend to wonder, well, what is the right choice? And I would say in the next few weeks, like whether it's agonizing over a menu or trying to decide between a past romance and a present romance, or trying to decide who you want to hire or not hire at your job, something like that, who you want to be friends with and who you don't want to be friends with. Try not to make any decisions at all. Make no decisions whatsoever. Just sort of allow things to happen and unfold. Let the decisions make themselves. And just respond with your body as much as possible. And make sure you maintain getting your rest. Try not to think about it too much. This is a really emotional time. You want to be in the moment as much as possible. And what will help you be in the moment as much as possible is going to be staying on task, keeping your zen. If every Tuesday night you have a dance class, go to that dance class, do those moves, let it get worked out on its own. This is going to be a really nice few weeks. People are going to have a very low stress levels, but they're going to feel a lot. Everyone's going to feel a lot more. I see a lot of psychic jumps for people. So if you find yourself feeling like, I feel like I heard someone think something, or you get a sudden flash of intuition, trust those things, because this is a very expansive time in terms of psychic awareness, and sometimes gifts are going to be coming to the surface. So I see a lot of that happening for people. Stay grounded, accept it for what it is. Don't let it freak you out too much. And just know that, as we emotionally become more in tune, it does open up psychic gifts, because a lot of psychism is connected to how people can feel and how much we feel, how much in our body we can be. So while the mind is important, that's kind of all, the mind is how we, grapple with things. But the emotions is how we know how things become true. Emotions are how we work things out. Emotions are very powerful things. Emotions can make things happen. Emotions can dictate our reality just as much as the mind. So, feed into that. Feed your emotions. Do what you feel like in the next few weeks. It's going to serve you a lot. And just know that this is a period of time where things are going to be very, I remember that the new moon, there was a lot of fire in the sky. So there was like a lot of action going on. It's like a lot of movement. There's movement, but it's more on the watery side. So you'll kind of float in and float out of things a lot. This is going to be a really peaceful time for people. I see a lot of peace. Anything that you've been worried about in the last couple weeks, the answers to the questions you may have had are going to be presented. They'll just come, because everyone's going to be flowing so intensely. That's what's going on. Like I said, I highly suggest being in water. Bathe, go to the beach, go to a hot tub, things like that. It's a really good time for it now. A really good time for it now. And I also want to suggest to drink more water in the next few weeks too. Water helps balance our body. And water also helps with stress levels. If you drink a glass of water, it'll lower your stress level. And grounding, eat some bread if you need to. So that will help too. So that's what I see is going on. It's kind of nice. Everyone's going to feel a lot, but they're going to feel really good about it. And remember what I said about the options. That's actually the most important part. This is not enough time to make big, huge decisions. Let the decisions sort themselves out for now. Because I see if anybody tries to make huge decisions at this time, they're going to get things will get much more confusing. Keep your boundaries in place. Continue to do life as it's set up for you at this time. If change happens, it'll happen on its own, and it'll flow very naturally. And I see that if there is changes coming, it's not going to be the kind of change that stops you from what you do on your day-to-day. So if you find yourself not doing what you normally do, get on yourself. Get on yourself. Get up, get out of bed. Put those emotions somewhere, put them in a journal, talk to a friend, do something with them. Get them into the ground. Get grounded. Stay with your details. That's it. I'll see you on the new moon. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, and if you're curious about other things that I do, you can look at my website, I guess. It's thefeatherisblue.com. Okay, bye bye.